Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm sharing with you a very sad video. I have some palettes I've given up on. I'm decluttering them for one reason or another. It's not a bunch, it's just a couple. I'm kind of in a palette renaissance right now where I feel like I've found so many palettes I love. This is genuinely, these are the only palettes I want to get rid of. So I thought about doing a whole declutter, but I'm like, I know which ones I'm getting rid of. One of them I'm actually returning. And the rest I've had for long enough. And I've got reasons why I'm like, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time. I genuinely, it's weird. You get kind of emotionally attached. And when I get to two of the ones I'm getting rid of, I'm like, no, I shouldn't. But I'm like, Jessica, you're not using them. It is time. So I hope that this inspires you to pull out some palettes, even though they might be $50 palettes. If you know in your heart that you are not using them and they have sat there for way too long, and like you'll pull it out and you're like, maybe I'll use it today, and then you never do anyway, it's time to get rid of it. Pass it on to a sister or a friend or someone that you know might actually love it. If you enjoyed this kind of video, definitely subscribe. Check out my whole declutter playlist. I've got years of declutters where I show all of my products in a category, go through and get rid of like a lot. So if you want to see those, I'll link the playlist. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into it. First one, this is the one I'm returning. I very recently bought this. This is the Viseart Golden Hour palette. Now this is not one that I was like disappointed in the quality, okay? This is one that I was like, you know what? This is just not different enough when I compare it to all the other palettes I already have. So the Viseart shadows are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I have another one of their palettes, they're like neutral matte, and it's so beautiful. It blends amazingly. But I just felt like, about this palette, you know what I mean? It's got the right kinds of mattes, it's got everything you might need, but I just didn't feel like anytime I did a look with it, I was like, yeah, like I can do that with every other palette. And I thought, okay, Jessica, pause. For that price point, you should be like, oh my gosh, I love this palette so much. And so I thought, okay, here's what's gonna happen. If I end up keeping this palette, because I'm in the window where I can still return it and I even still have the box. If I keep this palette, what's going to happen is it's going to move to my palette drawer. It's going to sit there for a year. And then a year from now, I'm going to do a video like this and I'm going to declutter it. Why not get your money back so that you can actually save it, put it towards another palette you genuinely would use? Like there's no point in keeping it. So I was a very good girl and I've decided, you know what, I'm going to return it. Even though it's Viseart, I don't know how to say it clearly. I've tried. I don't know. Like, I'll swatch a few for you. They're pretty. They are. I mean, there's no doubting that. But I just feel, that's a gold shade there. I just feel underwhelmed, I guess. Let me do like a matte so you can see. They're so blendable, but again, it's just not different enough. I did like the packaging. Another palette that I wish I had returned long ago is this Narcissus palette. It's their Loaded eyeshadow palette. I bought this myself and I just don't like this palette. Like, I just don't. I don't think the quality of the shadows is nearly as good as like their other palettes. Now, do they swatch pretty well? Yeah. Do they blend very well? Not really. I mean, it's okay. But I felt like every time I'd use it, I felt like I was forcing myself to use it. And I'm like, you know, these are neutrals that I like. But I don't know, there's something about this combination and like the looks I would do with it, I just feel very like I could have done that with an e.l.f. palette just fine. And I thought, okay, this is like $50 or $60, like it's not cheap. And every time I see it, I feel this like pang of guilt, like you bought that and you never use it and you don't like it. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna pass this on to someone else. I know one of my sisters would actually love and use this, and at least then it'd be given some love, because I hate seeing it in that drawer and feeling that feeling every single morning like, oh, why did I buy it? So I'm gonna move on, get rid of the freaking guilt, pass that guilt on to someone else. All right, next palette. This might surprise you that I'm getting rid of this one. This has been a favorite of mine. It's the NYX Perfect Filter palette in Olive You. I think that the quality of these shadows was actually really good, and that's why I've talked so much about them. Like, oh my gosh, I love this shade here. They have mattes, they have some shimmers. There was like one really dud shade there, this like weird kind of greenish color. It's just weird. It's very spotty. but I just don't ever use it. And you know, I used it when the first few months I bought it, and that's why I talked about in videos, because I really do like it. I think it's a good palette. But this is one that I'm getting rid of, not because I don't use it, but sorry, not because I don't like it, but because I just don't use it. And again, it's just gonna sit in there and sit in there and sit in there. And I don't know, I feel bad looking at it. I'm like, I know that's such a good palette, but I'm just not using it. So I'm passing on for good reasons, to share the love with it. But again, all right, next one I'm getting rid of is this Lorac Pro 3 palette. I wasn't sure if I was gonna declutter this. I feel like I got this within the last year and I really liked it. And I actually just filmed a video about products I changed my mind on. And this is one I changed my mind on. Do I think the mattes are gorgeous? Yes. The row of shimmers is really nice. There is the crummy shade Medallion that is just a really patchy, bad, chunky shade. But every look I do with this looks the same. It's a very muted palette, and you know, I found one look I really liked. I think I did a video on it, but that's like the only look I can pull off, because no matter what I put on, they all blend together and they look the same. And so then I just wasn't reaching for it. When I did, again, I feel like I'm forcing myself to use it. I'm like, why, Jessica? Your job is to try other palettes, or well, sure, but to try lots of makeup. And if there's one that you're just feeling underwhelmed by, then pass it on. So I'm really sad. Like, this has, you know, I've given it plenty of love, but it's just gotten to that point where I'm just not even enjoying using it anymore. So there's too many palettes in the sea, Jessica, move on. The last one I'm getting rid of, and this is the one that does kind of make me emotional. It's on the same vein. It's the original Lorac Pro. So many people love this, and this is one of those palettes that I am like, Jessica, use it. Everyone else loves it. Why don't you love it? It is really good. There's nothing wrong with the quality, but I just don't like using it. I don't know what it is about it. Like, I don't know if it's the formula. Maybe it's the formula of these, that maybe I don't like the formula for myself. I don't enjoy using it. And it's never to say, I mean, these blend well. So at the end of the day, it's not like an ugly look, but there's something about the formula that I just don't like, enjoy the process of putting it on. I can't describe it. And I think when I kind of realized that that's what it is, I felt a little bit better about passing it on. It's the weirdest thing. And I know so many people love Lorac shadows. I just don't think I like them. I don't know how else to describe it. And so my advice then, you know, regarding both of these is, you know, I spent my own money on these. These were not, none of these were sent to me in PR. And, you know, I'm getting to know myself. So now I know, okay, Jessica, you don't like Lorac shadows. Don't buy any more Lorac palettes. I just recently got rid of the Lorac Pro 2, and I remember thinking, I'm like, maybe I should just get rid of those. And I'm like, no, keep it. But again, I would feel that pang of guilt every time I saw these in there, because I knew they weren't getting used, and they were eventually going to go bad. So I'd rather pass all of these on before they go bad so that someone else can enjoy them, because obviously none of these are horrible quality. I hope this video was helpful, maybe less of a, you know, like I said, none of these products were absolutely horrible. So it wasn't really a products I regret buying. Well, no, I guess it was. It wasn't a disappointing product. It was more of a just kind of regrets, more because of who I am and how I like my shadow to look, or just how I enjoy shadows to apply, things like that. So I hope this inspired you to look in your palette drawer or any drawer, and any of those products in there that you feel guilty looking at, get rid of them. Get rid of it. You don't need that negativity in your life. So anyway, I hope that you'll check out some of my other declutter videos, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.